YouTube Nation, Manfit TV, aka Me TV, aka Discount Double Check. Yeah, that's right. I said, you know what? Maybe if you'd have discount double check down on some of those passes, Rodgers, it would have been a different story for your game. Now, I would say this also. Maybe if your receivers would have caught some of those passes, it'd have been different as well. I'm sorry, but the Giants DBs look like they were catching more of your passes than your receivers were. What's going on out there in Green Bay? But Green Bay fans, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Seriously, you guys had a great run this season, and it looked like you were poised to win again. But you were upset by the Giants. I want to say congratulations to the New York Giants. My God, this weekend has been a great weekend for sports. And what did I tell y'all about the San Francisco 49ers? What did I tell y'all about that defense? I told you, didn't I? That defense is smothering. It is the real deal. It seems like nobody wants to listen to me, though, right? I'll put it like this. Congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers. Let me tell you now, the New Orleans game versus the 49ers had to be the best game this year. A lot of back and forth, but what did I tell you guys, you Saints fans? I told you, I know a lot of you Saints fans is angry. I read it on the Twitter. I saw how angry you are. Understand your defense is not built for that. If your defense goes over almost 20 points, they lost, and you on the road, so you know you have a bad record on the road. Guys, you have to understand, the Saints, I'll put it like this. You don't have anything to be, I'll put it like this, ashamed about. All right? The only thing I would be mad right now about is Sean Payton, your coach. Because I thought Andy Reid was out there coaching. The whole time we like, you going to run the ball? You act like you didn't want to run the ball. Drew Brees threw the ball 63 times that game. 63, the man's a machine. He's a machine, all right? But it's just crazy to see how it was just, the last couple minutes of that fourth quarter was crazy. First off, your defense cannot let Alex Smith run for 21 yards to the end zone, which was hilarious because all of us laughed the way he's celebrating. Like, I'll put it like this. The San Francisco 49ers, they deserve this win. All right? And now that we know that they're matching up with the Giants, for those who don't understand, this is a huge battle between the Giants and the 49ers. This is history. If y'all don't remember, there was days of Sims, and dare I say it at a lesser time, Hostetler, Montana, Young, when they played. I mean, this is going to be something that people haven't seen in a long time. And that's why I'm so happy to see the San Francisco 49ers back in the playoffs. I've been saying it all season about this, was the San Francisco 49ers, all right? And then it happened this weekend. Now, you have to understand, you can't expect to have, 4 or 5 turnovers? Hey, most of them came in the first half and expect to win a football game. Yet the Saints still were resilient. They were, all right? Vernon Davis was crying after the game, because he caught the big catch. And you know what? I'm good with that. This is his first time actually going ahead in the playoffs. The first playoff win. Let that man cry, all right? And it's interesting to see Vernon Davis the way, he's progressed, because I remember when he was acting like an idiot on the field, and Mike Singletary pulled him off the field and put him into the locker room and told him, we don't need you. You know what I mean? So it was definitely interesting to see how he's grown as a player, on top of growing as a man. Very interesting. But you have to understand, the 49ers put on a hell of a show. I'm telling you, that game is the best game all season that I have seen. Congratulations to San Francisco. Congratulations, New Yorkers. I'll talk about you guys later. Also, I got some more sports to talk about you guys, because you guys acting kind of weird on Twitter. Something's up with that. And we're going to get into that. But I also want to talk about the other side of football. That's right. We're talking the Ravens and the Texans. Now, Texans fans, understand this, Houston. You have nothing to be ashamed of either. Look how far you got this year with a third-string quarterback. That's right. TJ, a third-string quarterback, got you that far into the playoffs. Now, if Shaw was playing or if Matt Lyon didn't fall off the bench and get hurt, you may have beat the Ravens. Because, I'll put it like this, the Ravens' defense was pretty good, all right? But the offense, I'm telling you, even though people keep giving Joe Flacco all this credit, Joe Flacco isn't that good. He's just not. I'm sorry, but if you put him up against a higher echelon defense, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. It's best that you stick to the run game. I can understand why Ravens fans keep saying, stick to the run game, then open up the pass. Because if you keep letting Flacco sling this ball, it's going to be a problem. And the media is saying, oh, he's addressing all the people, all the naysayers that he can't throw the ball. I didn't see him address anything. He had, 2 touchdowns? But I didn't see him really address anything. Now, if you want to see people address things, I'll put it like this, then you should have watched the Denver Patriots game. Because, man, let me tell you, Tom Brady throwing 5 touchdowns in the first half, that's making a statement. I'll put it like this, even though the Ravens won their playoff game and they were doing all these interviews, I'm thinking to myself, after seeing how the Patriots played the Denver Broncos, there shouldn't even be any interviews at this point, all right? If anything, after you win the game, Ravens, you should have went right back into the locker room and start playing for the Patriots, or at least start playing for the Patriots before you start playing the Texans. You have to be kidding me. There is no way you can let this guy throw 5 touchdowns in one half. This is crazy. This guy's playing on a completely different level, and I said this before. I understand we can make fun of Tom Brady with all the dancing and all this stuff and wearing the Uggs and all that, but you know what? What he did on that field Saturday tells us that he's motivated. Can you imagine? Look, he's saying that was just motivation to play. Could you imagine if you gave that man locker room material, billboard material? It'd be a whole different story. All right, he'd just kill you even more. Man, Tom Brady he's a great player, but that is probably one of the best performances I've seen from a quarterback in a very long time. I'm just saying, in a very long time. Denver fans, I don't understand. I was talking to friends from Denver when the game was going on. I was on the phone, and I'm asking them, how's the mood out there? Because they were at the bar, and they were like, yeah, the bars are packed. They was like, but the fans aren't cheering for Denver. No, they were drinking because of what happened in the first half. They were trying to drink their sorrows away. I mean, that's just crazy. There is no way, and I know a lot of people are jumping on Tim Tebow. I knew it was going to happen because you guys had asked me who I thought was going to win over the weekend. And my predictions were pretty correct. I said, if I'm going to go with my head, I said the Patriots was going to win. I said the Ravens were going to win. I said if I'm going with my heart, I said even though I think sometimes, I was thinking at the time the Saints would win and the Packers would win, I had said on Twitter, I said my heart is going to go with the 49ers and the Giants because I feel they have the chance to upset these teams and beat them. So I'm telling you now, guys, my predictions were pretty much covered the board pretty much. I mean, but that's not the point. The point is, you can't let the Patriots do that to you. Denver fans, I understand. For what I'm hearing, there's a lot of people walking off that Tebow bandwagon. A lot of them. And I want to talk about this for a minute because I want to tell you guys about how the media is doing this again. Did anyone see the commercial during, the Patriots-Broncos game where they sat around and they talked about, they showed the commercial of John 3:16? Yeah. All right, it's getting serious now. I told you about the media, taking this religion thing and putting it in your face. And a lot of people were upset about it on Twitter. And JR came out and was like, wait a minute. He's like, we don't get John 3:16 ads during the Jet games. It goes to show you that they're going to use Tebow to push a certain agenda. And even if Tebow wants nothing to do with it. And he's come out and said, hey, Tebow, he's taking all this in stride. He's just like, hey, whatever, you know what I mean? He's not going out there and throwing it in your face. No, it's the media. It goes to show you, and it's getting out of hand. It really is, guys. But I also see a lot of fans is going to jump on Tebow. I've seen it, and I said it before it even happened. I said that if the Denver Broncos lose this game, people are going to be like, where's your God now, Tebow? Where's he? He's not helping you today, Tebow. And you know what? I got to talk about this because for those who didn't see, during the week, the media had polled, I guess, a number of, I'm going to say idiots, all right, number of idiots. 47% of Americans thought that Tim Tebow winning up till now, of course they lost, but winning up till now was all about divine intervention. No, it's football. I told you before, all right? They wouldn't say it was divine intervention when they had lost like 3 straight during the season before they would beat the Steelers. No, they wasn't saying that. But because he was winning, it was divine intervention. Now, you got to be kidding me. Like I said, with all this hunger and disease and death and wars and all this, God has bigger things to do. All right, then help Tim Tebow win a damn football game. But it's like people don't want to listen to that. But since the Denver Broncos lost, everyone's taking a shot at Tebow. And what happened in the fourth quarter with Tim Tebow? What happened? All right, he went into meltdown mode. Something I thought I'd never see because we've seen this kid. All right, we've seen him have so much composure. But then he's going over there, he's yelling at his teammates, and I don't know if he's trying to fire them up or if he's just really yelling because he's pissed off. Because I'll put it like this, you've lost this game for 3.5 quarters. No way all of a sudden are you going to try to fire these guys up and all of a sudden Tebow time's going to happen when you're down by that many points. No, it does not work that way. All right, I told you before, there's no such thing as Tebow time. It's just football. That's what it comes down to. And people who keep believing this guy, if you want to believe in him, you think he's good, fine. All right, but there's no miracle here. You have to understand, this team lost this game for 3.5 quarters. All of a sudden, he starts yelling at people. You think all of a sudden, oh, they're going to respond? The linemen are going to respond. The receivers are going to respond. Tim Tebow was staring down receivers. He was forcing passes, and they were ducks. He was throwing the ball to the ground. And I put it like this, in the third quarter, I had said to you guys on Twitter, I said, I've seen enough. It's time to pull him. That's right. Bring in Brady Quinn because he wasn't getting the job done. You have to understand when Tim Tebow is being that inaccurate with his passes and he can't run the ball because of the fact that the Patriots scouted out all the options and they were catching them, what else does he have left? He doesn't have anything left. It's not working, all right? And I put it like this. When I talk about this, was it during the regular season, about game planning. Because when you adjust, I say what, okay, the first half did bad, you adjust for the second half. Well, in the playoffs, you adjust either every play or every quarter. You have to be ready for that. That's how it works in the playoffs. But you can blame the coach for that, or whoever's in charge for not, taking those necessary steps. But if this quarterback, I understand a lot of people are going to say, you let the quarterback play, let him ride it out, let him know how it feels. You need time to make a comeback if you're going to do that. You don't wait till 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. No. And if you don't believe me, go back into the 90s and watch the Bills-Oilers game. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right? You need time to make a comeback, and he wasn't making the comeback. But this gives fuel to the fire for every person who says that Tim Tebow is not the man. It really does. It really does, believe it or not. But speaking of people who are the man already, Michael Vick. That's right. Philly fans, I understand that you're upset, all right, for what he said. And for those who don't understand what he said, yesterday, check this out. Now, Eagles fans, hold on for a minute. I understand that you're upset because he's saying he's picking the Giants. I understand the fan rivalry, all right? But then I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he's saying that, just because of the NFC East. Guys, understand this. You got to look further then, all right? If he's saying that the NFC East is the best, that means he just trashed the NFC South, which he used to play for most of his career in Atlanta. You understand that? Look, this is why it goes two different ways, and both sides are mad now. Michael Vick, be quiet. Just be quiet. I understand you want to say the NFC East is the best now because you own it. You know what I mean? A lot of people feel that way. The NFC is the East is the best. That's why they call it the NFC Beast. But you cannot say something like that. You just can't, especially coming from you. Philly fans are mad. I've seen a couple of Atlanta fans that are kind of upset about it too. I don't know how everyone feels majority-wise. Personally, I've seen worse from Eagles players. We've seen that throughout the season. So to me, it was just like that's the look I gave. I was like, what? But that was, and then I didn't think of it after that, after saying, okay, Atlanta fans have more to be mad about than Eagles fans. But when you pick the Giants to win it all, I can understand that too. But but you said, there's a difference between being a fan and looking from a football perspective. That's why I'm not going to jump on too much, but I do say I have a problem with him, with Atlanta fans saying that. But anyway, speaking of more Eagles players, guys, if you didn't know, last week, LaShawn McCoy came out in an interview and said that next year is our year to win the Super Bowl. Come on, man. And Eagles fans are mad because they're like, next year? What about this year? And you know what? You got to calm down, Eagles fans. You really do. All right. When I saw that, I just chalked up to another Eagles player just not knowing what to say again. I just laughed at him. I'm laughing right now. I mean, seriously. The season, I understand, no. The season is not over yet. Don't say anything like that until the season's over at least. I mean, come on. It's the same thing when we saw it seems like we see this a lot with the Eagles, all right? When McNabb was re-signed and the wide receiver team was like, oh, we're going Super Bowl. We're going Super Bowl. And then what happened? The Dream Team. Like, you have to understand, Eagles players, you have to calm down. You have to just bring it down a notch, all right? You're really pissing off the fan base. Now you're going at the other fan bases like, just stop. Speaking of fan bases, I need to talk about this a little bit, all right? I gave you a little update because Flyers fans. Now, I showed you guys the fight last week about, from the Flyers and the Rangers fans. And now, like I said before, Broad Street Hockey pushed this so much, to find this guy in immoral acts. And for those who don't know, the Philadelphia police have used so much time and manpower to find this guy. This one guy who just knocked the guy out. Now, yes, it's wrong, but there's bigger things going on. I'll explain that later, all right? But they found a guy, all right? So now we're finding out that the victim, who got stretched, he's from New Jersey, right? The attacker, he's from New Jersey. Like, come on. Like, from Philly. But you know what? You have to understand, people, from South Jersey. South Jersey is Philadelphia territory, all right? They're Flyers fans. North Jersey are Rangers fans. So you have to understand that. But I've seen a lot of comments from people who are just so upset. All right, and let's talk about not on YouTube, but like in other forums and other articles and things that nature, just reading the comments. A lot of Philly fans are upset about this because they're saying, you know what, this is the second time a Jersey guy has made Philadelphia look bad. And for those who don't remember, a Phillies fan who threw up on that girl was from Jersey himself. So that's what they're saying, all right? And they're saying that, this has to stop. And one guy even suggested that Philadelphians make a human chain across the bridge so that Jersey people can't get in. Like, this is, like, you have to take the bad with the good. I understand we're all going to be labeled. We are. you know. But if you know you're not doing that, you don't stand for that, then you shouldn't let it really get to you. But you should call, you should call people on it. You should. If something bad like that happens, like I said, there's a difference. At this point, it doesn't even matter what fan you are. As I explained last week, all right, there's good fans dealing with unruly fans. And here's the thing that we're finding out now. Because I said last week that this guy, he was in the military, he fought for our country. We're finding out more that he was an off-duty cop. He was off-duty at the time of the fight. So here's the question. When this is going on, why didn't he come out and say that he was a cop? Why didn't he come out and try to defuse the situation, say, look, let's not have this, I'm a cop, just stop right now. But he didn't, did he? No. Like I said, he's just as responsible as anyone else. But because he got stretched, it's a whole different story. All right? And that's what they're running with. Now, here's the thing. All right? They got the guy. They're going to charge him, like I said. But this week, for those who don't know, all right, because I called Broad Street Hockey on this before. I told you can't take this moral route unless, like I said, unless you're going to be against all crime, don't even, go that way. But they still wanted to. Fine. Then tell me this. This week, over at Juniata, right, which is not far from here, all right, a bunch of teens, we're talking 14, 15 years old, they were shot up in a car. Kids, all right, they had nothing to do with anything. But they were shot up in a car by somebody. So let me get this straight. Where's Broad Street Hockey now? Or do they need to be wearing Flyers jerseys for you to get all mad and say, okay, now we need to have a manhunt? Is that what it is? And the mayor comes out and says that, oh, we're going to find these animals and things. We've seen no manpower or time put into this so far. That's the last we've heard of it. And I tried to warn the mayor before because I told you before about how Juniata is a bad neighborhood, but you didn't want to listen on Twitter. You just keep ignoring me. You know what? I'm going to bring this down a level because I don't need to make this video negative. I really don't. Let's move on, because speaking of more fans and more fights and more violence, man, for those who have not seen what the Philadelphia Wings is doing, this is what they've been doing lately. Now, I don't really watch lacrosse that much. I mean, they really don't play it on TV much. And I understand they do fight, but they be getting down like that? Seriously, they get down like that? Look, all right, you know what? Let me move on. I want to talk about basketball. And man, this week, not this week, once again, last week has been great for basketball and for basketball fans. Now, first off, let me start by saying Kobe Bryant is killing the game right now. Some of you guys have been sending me messages. He's a monster. No. All right? He's on a completely different level. He's like Drew Brees. He's a machine right now. All right? How do you put up 40-plus points a game with a messed up hand? How do you do that? Could you imagine if his hand was okay? Like, this is just crazy. It goes to show you that he is taking the workload. But I will say this. How long can he keep it up? That's the question, because I know there's some of these guys on this team that I've been watching the Lakers. It's like, who's that guy? Who's he? You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of these guys I've never heard of. You know what I mean? But it's whatever. I put it like this. They still need some bigs. Bynum cannot do it all on his own. Gasol, he seems to have turned into what Spencer Hawes is now. He's not really playing that strong inside unless you have both of them in the box, which what I mean is Gasol and Bynum. Because they're going to, because Bynum's body is so much bigger and more physical, they're going to gravitate towards him more than Gasol. You have to understand that. So if you've noticed as of late, Gasol's been getting a lot of tip-ins or close two-hand dunks because they're so focused on Bynum, all right? But like I said, with injuries happening and everything, we don't know how long it's going to last. And the same thing I have to say with the Clippers, because even though the Clippers are doing very well this time, Chris Paul, as you know, was just injured not too long ago, high ankle sprain. We'll see what happens with that, but they are doing very well. We'll see how long they can last as well. The Celtics, my God, just pack it up. Sorry, Celtics. I mean, for those who saw last week, all right, the Celtics, they just look old. They look slow. The Bulls manhandled them. The first half, it was so physical, they couldn't do anything against their bigs. It was just crazy, all right? And I don't understand this. And the Knicks, I'll get to you in a minute. But first, I need to talk about my 76ers. Now, guys, and you bandwagon fans, that's right. Now, you guys watching the show, you guys know we've talked to Sixers for about, what, 3 seasons now? So you good with me. We in good company, all right? The people on Twitter, we in good company when it comes to talking about the Sixers, since some of you have been fans for a long time, so we talking everything. But there's all of a sudden a surge of bandwagon fans, and this is what I hate. All right, because a lot of these people are coming out of nowhere. Because I follow the CEO of the Sixers on Twitter. All right, and he retweets everything pretty much, and he talks every statement. The team is so fun again to watch, and like, what do you mean it's fun again? This is the same team from last year with a couple additions. Don't tell me they're fun again. Obviously, you didn't watch last year. That's what it comes down to. All right, no matter win or lose, fans, us real fans, will be there. All of a sudden, they start winning a couple games, which is right now they're throwaway games because they really haven't played that many contenders. All right, and all of a sudden, everyone's back on the wagon. And for those who know what I'm talking about, it's tweets like this that piss me off. Hasn't watched the Sixers since they went to the championship. All of a sudden, he wants to come back and be a fan and put on a jersey. That pisses me off, people. You have no idea. So when they're winning, you will come back. But when they lose, you're going to walk away. Nah. All right, that's not how it happens. When they lose, you analyze, you see what can be fixed, but you still back the team. Don't you understand that? See, that's what it means of being a real fan. Not this other garbage that you've been seeing as of late. This is what I mean. You have to separate the two. And then you have these fans who just think that, they can get on Twitter and talk like they pro-Sixer. Nah. It don't work that way. And I understand that because I've got a CEO as well. And I know some people are going to say, well, when you mean contenders, what do you mean? I mean the Heat. I want to see them play the Heat. I want to see them play the Celtics. I have every full confidence in them they can beat the Celtics, all right? I want to see them play the Bulls. You have to think. You have to set these guys up with strong teams. I want to see them play the Lakers. You have to set them up with stronger teams to get better experience because down the long run, you're going to have to play them in a playoff if you want to get to the championship, all right? One game isn't enough. You have to beat these guys in a series, and that's what it comes down to. And I just don't understand where these fans are all of a sudden jumping on. Like I said, it's like the hype machine, all right? And the CEO, he has no idea what he's talking about. I understand he just acquired the team, so he's trying to do all this media blitz and this PR because he's on Twitter just talking to everyone and loving the games and everything, but he doesn't know anything about basketball. And me and him have talked, and every time I talk, he almost pulls like the mayor. He just ignores me. He just ignores me. Because fans said, look, one fan came out and said, look, we understand that you're happy for the team, the wins are good and all, but you haven't played a contender. The CEO retweets, he's like, but we played the Indiana Pacers, and they're 9-3. So I had to get on because the other person didn't get back to him, so I jumped on him, all right? Because you're not going to play that type of game on Twitter. No, that's not how things happen when it comes to sports. So I got on him and I said, when's the last time the Indiana Pacers made some noise in the playoffs? When? All right? Exactly. They haven't. They get to the first one, they one and done, just like the Sixers, one and done last year, right? Okay. So don't all of a sudden come out and say, well, they're 9-3. That doesn't mean they can keep that pace up. That doesn't mean anything, all right? Especially this early in the season. And what we do? He backed off. Exactly. You don't want to get into it with some real Sixers fans. Just because you go out and spend millions of dollars on Dr. J memorabilia and Sixers memorabilia, bring all these old, these old Sixers players to the games, which God knows how much you paid them to do that, and have all these light shows and all this stuff. That doesn't matter. All right? We came to see basketball. We don't care about anything else. Like I said last week, I'll go outside and watch basketball. All right? You have to understand you're dealing with a fan of basketball, not just the 76ers. Even though I'm full for the 76ers, you have to understand they still have problems. They still have leaks. And I want to talk about this right now because when they played the Knicks, a lot of Knicks fans are saying that, hey, the Sixers could have beat the Knicks that night. They could have if they had Spencer Hawes because he was hurt. I don't really think they had enough to still, even with Hawes, I still don't think they would have beat the Knicks. And not because the Knicks are that good, but because of the play style they were doing. That's what it comes down to. And some of those calls did not go their way. For those who saw what happened with Andre Iguodala and Carmelo Anthony, first off, there's no way that's a double tech. All right? Anthony scores. Iguodala's trying to get the ball so he can inbound the ball. Anthony holds on to the ball, gives him attitude, and does like this and starts yelling at Iguodala. So what do? They tech them both. Iggy didn't do anything for the tech. If anything, Anthony should have been double tech for his attitude and delay a game. But that's how I see things, all right? Obviously. And like I said, for those who've been watching a lot of basketball, a lot of people are getting away with traveling so much. Why is this? And I'm not just talking about dribbling the ball and taking the extra couple steps, as we saw with Evan Turner last week. He took 3 steps to make a dunk. All right, and they didn't call it. No, I'm talking about lifting up your pivot foot, moving it, and then all of a sudden switching to a different pivot foot, or just taking steps. You have the ball like this. You're getting ready to pass it, and what you're doing, you're taking steps forward. You're taking little baby steps forward. You can't do that. That is a travel, but yet they're not calling that. I don't understand. Watch the footwork of some of these players, and it's like, wow, how are you getting away with that? And the rest are just letting it go. They're just letting it go, and I'm just thinking to myself, that's what makes the sport a joke. It does. I understand a lot of things that happen should be called, but things that are so blatantly obvious, you have to call. I'm sorry, but a player can't keep inching up when he's trying to pass the ball. If that's the case, he keep him inch up, he's going to be damn near the rim. What the hell? And he was at the key. It's like, it's crazy. All right, but speaking of the Knicks, I will put it like this. I've seen a lot of fighting between Knicks fans, and this has got to stop, all right? Because a lot of people are saying, the Knicks don't have any defense, and the Knicks are going to be fine. Just let D'Antoni do his thing. Knicks fans, you have to understand, D'Antoni didn't demonstrate any defense when he was with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns was a run and shoot team, all right? What do you expect from the New York Knicks? You have all this star power and you still can't get the job done. You guys gave up 70 points in the first half to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You gotta be kidding me. That's ridiculous. That's not defense, all right? I'm sorry, but when you have all those players, you have to be able to do something. And I see a lot of people still getting on Landry Fields. You know what? The kid really hasn't stepped up. And Douglas. Both of them really haven't stepped up, but everyone loved them last year. Especially Fields. Spike Lee had Landry Fields' jersey on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess it was cute then because he was a rookie and not anymore. He's got to, pay his dues. He's really have to step his game up. But the Knicks, you have to understand. The Knicks, I feel they're still missing a piece. All right? And a lot of people want Amari traded for Dwight Howard. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. Now, Dwight Howard is still in play. That's right. They said the Lakers could get him. They said the Nets could get him. And I believe they said the Warriors could get him or something like that. Was it? It's another team. I believe it was the Warriors. All right. So we'll see what happens. Dwight Howard is still a big piece. As much as I don't like Dwight Howard, even I'm not stupid enough to say, all right, you shouldn't take a gamble on him. No, you need a big body. Like I said, that guy, even though he's still, I'll put it like this. If you put Dwight Howard in a smaller body, I've said this before, in a smaller body, all right, in a regular street baller body, he wouldn't get picked up in a game. Because his basketball IQ is not that great. But because he's such a big physical dominance player, you got to give him his credit, all right? And that's the only reason why I give him his credit. Because of how big he is, because he's a freak of nature. But other than that, his basketball IQ is like, it's not really that good, all right? But whatever, for a big man, you do whatever. And the thing is, for those who didn't see what happened last week with Dwight Howard, he broke the record for free throws because they tried to do the hack-a-shack to him, and it backfired. So he had like 39 attempts or something like that at the line? Yeah. It's just crazy. I don't understand it. But you know what? The NBA, it has been exciting. I don't think it's in full rotation yet because football's still going on. But once football goes on, they will press NBA a little bit more on TV. Now, I understand that TNT has a lot of games. I try to tell you guys when the games are coming on so, you don't miss anything. But, I mean, to be quite honest, it's kind of tough because the NBA one day will be on ESPN, the other one TNT will have. And if you can't see them on those, then you got to go to NBA TV. And some of those games they've already been played, so you got to catch the replay. It's kind of tough. But I will be watching tonight as well, guys. I believe there's Flyers and Sixers. I don't know if the Flyers play, but I know the Sixers play. I will be watching that. And yes, they beat the Wizards over the weekend in 2 games back-to-back. That's nothing. The Wizards only have 1 win. That means nothing, all right? A lot of people are, they're excited about it. I don't see why. It's the Wizards. I don't get it, but whatever. Anyways, I'm done for the day, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Y'all get ready for next week's playoffs. It's going to be a great one.